card table so that they could have lunch at home again. And they reminisced and talked about, growing up there, and told me so many stories. And I wouldn't take anything for that. I wouldn't take anything for the time and that we had here. And then my mother got worse. In 2004, she went into a nursing home because she had been bedridden about a year, and she had to be gotten up with a lift. She could not stand on her feet at all, and it was where she physically needed medical assistance on a pretty much regular basis that I could not give her. And at the same time, I had been having an online relationship with my current husband. And so, simultaneously, my mother went into a nursing home, and I flew overseas to marry my husband. My husband is Middle Eastern. He was born in Kuwait City, Kuwait, but he was from Palestinian descent. And his parents, on leaving Palestine to start a business in Kuwait, the Israeli government would not allow them to come back into the country to live. So when my husband left Kuwait City to go to a university in Germany when he turned 18, he learned that he couldn't go back into the country. Even though he was born there, he was not considered a Kuwaiti citizen. He was still a Palestinian. They don't consider you to be what you would be, they don't consider you like in the United States. You're born here, you're an American. It's not that way in the Middle East. None of the Middle Eastern countries do it that way. You're whatever nationality your ancestors were. So his family wound up moving to Jordan whenever Saddam took Kuwait. All Palestinians fled the country in terror. And so then after it was over and Saddam was gone, the Kuwaiti government wouldn't let those people back into the country. So my husband's parents moved to Amman, Jordan. So they were like people without a country, even though they're Jordan citizens and have Jordan passports. The Jordanian people, they say you're not Jordanian, you're Palestinian. So even though they live there, they don't feel as if that's their country. So my husband came here and he became an American citizen. He was prouder than anybody could ever be. If you've never had a country, you've never been that way where you didn't have a country, you would not understand the feeling. Our ancestors, I'm sure, understood the feeling. The ones who came here as immigrants and pioneers in the olden days, they knew they were looking for a better place, but we forget that. We forget what our ancestors were and what they did to have a better life. And because my husband is Middle Eastern, which is legally Caucasian, they consider him to be black. So they consider our marriage interracial. They wouldn't even accept his blood. On several times he went to donate blood. I had gastric bypass surgery a couple of years ago, and I had to have 2 units of blood. So him being as nice of a man as he is, whenever the people at his work went to a blood drive that was being held local in a local church, he went too. Well, the first time they said, well, we can't take your blood because your blood pressure's high. His blood pressure wasn't high. He went straight to someone who had it checked, and it was not high. Well, the next 3 months, they had another blood drive. He went back. This time, they wanted to say that he had something wrong with his blood. They haven't even taken a sample of his blood. They wouldn't come near him enough to take a sample of his blood. They said something about he had herpes or hepatitis or something, and they hadn't even checked his blood. And the point was, they could have shown respect. If they didn't want to actually take his blood, they could have been discreet. They could have taken the blood, tossed it in the trash can when he left the building, and there had been no problems about it. But they wanted to humiliate by telling him, letting him know that his blood wasn't good enough. He had just come into the country. Do people not understand what all the hoops you have to go through to come into the United States as an immigrant? All the physicals and blood tests and things that you have to do. All the meetings and interviews you have to go through to come into the country. So it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous to be treated that way. The second time he left, and then it became an issue where we realized they were on purpose not taking his blood. So, what were we to do? The next time they came, he decided he wanted to go back. Well, he went back. Well, this time the police were called. And the police told him that either he would leave the premises or he would be arrested for trespassing and disturbing the peace, for trying to donate blood. I could not believe it. This was just wild that something like this could happen. And anywhere that they wouldn't take blood, you know? Like he was from Mars or something. But that just shows how prejudiced people can be. And it could have been because my husband was married to me. I don't know. I would like to tell the people of Noxubee County my own personal situation. There's lots of speculation and there's lots of name-calling and things going on when it comes to me and my own personal situation. But I'll clear the air right now. But I'll say to begin with, this is only for the people in Noxubee County, and it's not open for discussion. I will never discuss it again. I will not go into debates about it, religious or anything about my situation, because it's really none of anybody's business. But I just want to clear the air once and for all. I was born with an intersex condition called DES intersex. What that was is a hormonal intersex condition caused from DES, which was the abbreviation for disocebesterol, synthetic hormone that my mother was on at the time of my conception. She had had problems with miscarriages. She wanted to have another child. And doctors at that time, they put a lot of women on disocebesterol. And eventually, when they realized the side effects that it was causing, they took it off the market. They no longer give it to pregnant women.